Thanks for joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And in this episode, we catch up with LaDon McPherson. How would you like to be a dad who has three sons that get college scholarships because of their kicking ability? Oldest son, Logan, middle son, Evan, youngest son, Alex. Three kids going to college on kicking scholarships. It's the Kicking McPhersons. We're going to find out all about LaDon McPherson, his sons, his family. What kind of a kicker was LaDon? That's an interesting question. You'll find out. Welcome once again to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And our very special guest, as we come to you from our First Star Logistics studios, as always, is LaDon McPherson, who is the dad of Evan McPherson. I call him Evan Bionic Leg McPherson. I mean, this guy has a howitzer hanging off of that right hip. Welcome to our podcast video cast, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate that very much. So, what is it about the Kicking McPhersons? You have you have three sons. Your oldest son, Logan, kicked at Louisiana Tech, and obviously we know about Evan kicking at University of Florida. And your youngest son, Alex, just got a scholarship to Auburn. What is that about? I mean, that's got to help a dad. All three of your sons going to college on a kicking scholarship?
Yeah, it's something obviously we never dreamed would happen, for sure. You know, when Logan got the opportunity to go to Louisiana Tech and punt there on scholarship, we thought, man, we are doing so great not having to pay for college. You know, here he goes to play football and goes on scholarship. And I remember talking to who is now a Cincinnati Bengal, Trent Taylor. He actually played with Logan at Louisiana Tech during those years. And I remember talking to Trent's dad, and because Evan was then going through the recruiting process and camps and stuff like that. And I remember Greg, which is Trent's dad, he said, man, how incredible would it be to have a second son get the opportunity to go play in college, you know? And he said it's sort of unheard of, you know, for that to happen back to back. But as it did happen back to back for us, and then even a third time. So it's very special. Yeah.
Back to back to back. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So Evan sets the school record in high school, a 60-yard field goal. Alex is his holder when he sets that record. And then Alex says
that was a state record as well, not just a school record.
Wow.
But a state of Alabama record.
How close was it to a national record?
I think high school national is like 64, I believe.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So Alex, though, when he's his senior year this past year, he makes one from 61 and breaks Evan's record. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Wow.
That was his final home game, a regular season game, and he was able to break it with a 61. And ironically enough, he broke it twice because they lined up for a 61 earlier in the game, and our outside wingman flinched, and they threw the flag, but Alex had already kicked the ball, and he actually made that 61-yarder.
Wow.
Well, then they had to back him up 5, so it was a 66-yard attempt, and we went ahead and tried it as well, and he was short on the 66-yarder. Later in the game, it comes back up for another 61, and he was able to nail it through as well. So,
how short was he on the 66-yarder? It was only like a yard short. How short was it?
I think it was a couple yards or so.
Wow.
On that one.
So he's got some range, obviously, as well. How did Evan and Alex, from the place kicking side of things, what did they do to train themselves for it? Was it a lot of soccer as use? What was the deal?
Yeah, a lot of soccer. Our boys started playing since they were 4 years old and up. And of course, Logan started it. You know, he was our first one. When he was 4, Evan was just basically born because there's 4 years difference in those two. And so we've been on the soccer field since 99, I guess it was, with the boys on rec league soccer. And then once Evan started that as well, rec league, they did establish and develop a travel team out of our local area. And he was 8 years old when that started. And so Evan has played competitive soccer, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. They played everywhere in the Southeast. And so he did that competitively for, I don't remember, it was 5, 6 years until he finally, once he was playing football and year-round soccer with the travel soccer team, at some point he had to finally decide, we're going to have to push the soccer aside and concentrate on football. So at that time, he did just fall football, spring soccer for the school program.
So what position did Evan play in soccer?
He was a striker or forward.
Striker. Makes sense.
Very, very talented. One of the leading scorers, every year. Very fast, very physical, and he could body check folks and had a knack for his corner kicks. I remember one tournament, I think he had 2 corner kicks he actually curved in for a goal.
Really?
But he's right-footed, so it would have been off that right side or left side field or corner that he
Right.
curved in two corner kicks for goals.
So
And then also, I'll tell you on Evan's soccer story, we did win state when he was a 9th grader, and the irony of that is he won the semifinal match with a header. He won the championship game with a header, so it wasn't off his foot; it was off his head to win the championship.
So if he had pursued soccer wholeheartedly and fully, would he have had a scholarship to college for soccer, do you think?
I'm sure there would have been an opportunity, but to be honest with you, we did not investigate that avenue very much because we knew the opportunities that were there for place kicking in college.
Sure. So as youth, any other sports? Did they play basketball, baseball? Were your boys involved in any other sports as well?
They were baseball at the younger age, basketball as well, rec league type stuff. Then as far as school sports, Evan played basketball, football, and soccer once he got up into school age sports.
So LaDon, are you an athlete? Is your wife an athlete? Who's the athlete in the family that the boys have the gene pool from?
Well, we were both athletes.
Yeah.
I was a basketball player in high school. We did not have soccer when I was growing up at Fort Payne High School. I played basketball as a point guard. Always a short stature guy, not quite as large as I am today. So small, just really fast and could maneuver. And then my wife Amber, she played softball growing up, and then she transitioned to basketball in high school.
How about that? So both sides of the family providing that athletic ability. So when Evan, when did you realize that he was special with regard to not getting too high with success, not getting too low, very even keel, not flinching in pressure situations, staying totally calm? Was he always like that?
Mm-hmm. He's always been like that, but a lot of that comes just from his natural drive to wanting to be the best, and no matter what he does, whether it was Little League baseball. I mean, we owned a batting cage back when they were younger. When he was probably 6, and the 7 and 8-year-olds used a pitching machine. And I remember the days when we had that batting cage was during Evan's probably 6 years old. He would just go in there and work on the batting cage, and that transitioned to the field because you're hitting off a pitching machine. And if you keep real stats in baseball as a 7, 8-year-old, he had one of the better stat lines as far as on base percentage or batting averages as a 6-year-old playing up in 7 and 8-year-olds. So he's always had that drive and desire to if he's going to try something or do something, he's going to try to be the best at that as he can be.
So he has an earned confidence. There's no question about that. And that's different from cockiness. Earned confidence is totally different. And he carries himself so well, and his teammates respond to him so positively. And the story that gets me, and I'm sure, I don't know how you reacted to it, but he told the backup quarterback when he was on the sideline taking a couple of warm-up swings with his leg, he goes, well, time to go out and win this game and go play in the AFC Championship. I mean,
that's right.
Where does that kind of earned confidence come from? Just repetition, thousands of kicks?
Sure. And we've talked about this as a family. We know Evan didn't say that so that the media would get a hold of it and just sort of blow it up.
Right.
He was just talking to Brandon Allen. That's all he was trying to do.
Yep.
because we know Evan said it in fun and hey, let's go play in the NFC Championship game, And so that's the way we take it, and that's the way he is. He's always been a quiet, calm kid, and just very confident in what he can do.
So when he started leaning toward kicking, was there anybody that coached him? Did he have a personal coach? Did he go to kicking camps? Was it just natural ability? How did that all evolve?
But in both ways, he had every 2 weeks we would travel to Birmingham, and he would work out with Mike McCabe at one-on-one kicking, uh, and a lot of that you're going and learning techniques or tips, but you're around like-minded people in the kicking world, right? Because you show up for it's really they call it one-on-one kicking, but there was a group of maybe 15 would show up for these camps or training sessions every 2 weeks in Birmingham. So he treated it as that. Hey, let's go, and at least I'm around people that are like-minded, and he always wanted to be the best at those as well. Week in and week out when he went down there. So we used that as a sort of a training tool, and then we would use Cole's Kicking, which is a national kicking camp, for the ranking top side of that to see where Evan really fell in the pond of kickers. So.
So Alex, younger brother, did Alex kind of gravitate toward kicking because of older brother Evan, or was he just as interested? If you didn't have Evan as an older brother, how did that all evolve?
Sure. I mean, I think a lot of it comes from older brother trying to follow older brother because Evan did that with Logan. When we were, we found out Logan had interest in it and was really good at it. At the local level, we thought, well, how good is he really? So we started carrying him off to college camps, and he was competing in those. His first camp he went to, he finished like third in their little competition at Auburn University, and so that gave Logan drive and tried to be better and to try to grow. And so once he started growing and developing and getting interest in colleges, then Evan saw that, and he thought, well, I want to be like Big Brother too. If he can go to college on this, then maybe I got a chance.
Has the McPherson family dominated punt, pass, and kick in your local area for years now?
If we had that competition, I'm sure they would. But because for the local Fort Payne high school football team, Amber and I have watched for the last 13 years where one of our sons was the kicker / punter on the field. So it'll be bittersweet this fall. We won't have a kid out there, and honestly, we'll probably be traveling on Fridays now to down to Auburn and do some tailgating and things like that, and in preparation for Alex. Alex's game's on Saturdays.
So Evan is got 12 points already. He's kicked, 4 field goals in 3 postseason games, or I should say, and the record's 14. A Hall of Fame Adam Vinatieri, Hall of Fame kicker, basically he's got the record, and your son's chasing it down. I mean, he's already got the record for 12 points in a postseason. I mean, he's a machine. Does he talk to you after every football game? Does he talk to you before the football game? How does that go? What's his routine there?
We do talk to him usually every game, unless we're there in Cincinnati. If it's an away game or if we're not there,
Right.
Amber will always send off a text to him just like she did every day in college when he was playing, just wishing him luck and
Right.
do what you do. And that's basically what we tell him. So just do what you do. This is your thing. You know how to do what you do, and just go do what you do. And post game, we never really talk about kicks. We don't talk about makes, misses. We just are a family unit. Just he knows we love him. We tell him that, and we also tell him he's the same kid before he ever goes out and makes those kicks or misses those kicks, right? So before the game ever starts, he's the same kid after as he was before.
Well, to have 2 parents that have an athletic background and to support their son like you and Amber do, he's a very fortunate guy. And man, your family, it's unbelievable. All of your sons competing at such a high level and experiencing the successes. I can't imagine what it must be like for you parents. You guys must be over the moon.
Yeah, we are, and we don't really know how to think, to be honest with you, as far as what's happening now with Evan going to the Super Bowl. Never dreamed it would happen, and especially this quickly, because there's some guys that play in the league for many years and never get to sniff the Super Bowl.
No
And
question.
so, him as a rookie, coming in and getting this opportunity is going to be special.
It is quite remarkable. First year out of the blocks, man, to advance to the Super Bowl, and it would not stun me if the Bengals win the Super Bowl against the Rams on an Evan McPherson kick at the gun. It would not shock me whatsoever.
That would be just over the moon for sure. I was speaking to the pro shop manager Todd there in Cincinnati earlier this week because they had gotten some of the Evan McPherson socks in.
Oh yeah.
There, and he was calling me and said, "Hey, we got some in, if y'all have interest in some of these socks and stuff." So we were talking, and he said, "Listen," he said, "if Evan makes a game winner in the Super Bowl, he's got a chance of becoming the mayor of Cincinnati."
There's no doubt.
Like, yeah, but our story, our personal story is right. Yeah, we didn't have a connection with Cincinnati at all until May, of this past year.
Right.
May the 1st, when he was drafted, received a call from Coach Taylor. We had no connection with Cincinnati whatsoever. We didn't know a whole lot about the city, the team, to be honest with you. I've watched NFL games growing up, but never have really been in tune with it because here in Alabama, most people concentrate on either Alabama or Auburn football,
Right.
and because we don't have a pro team in the state of Alabama. So anyway, there just wasn't a whole lot of following of NFL for our family. But so anyway, it's great to see. And so I guess I was trying to say that this is all we know for Cincinnati football is what's happened this year.
Yep.
And all the, the folks that have, lived there and cheered for Cincinnati for the past 3 decades or 4 decades, they're going, this is definitely unusual for Cincinnati. But it's all we know.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, I know Zach Taylor said that his son wanted an Evan McPherson jersey and they were sold out. He said,
That's
"You're
right.
gonna have to wait, son. When the next shipment comes in, I'll get you one as soon as we can."
That's right.
They were flying out of the pro shop. There's no doubt about that. So
right.
what has Evan said about the city of Cincinnati, his teammates, the coaching staff? He's got to be pleased as punch, is he?
Oh yes, yeah, he loves it. Yeah, he loves the vibe of the city. The city's not too big and it's not too small.
Right.
It's they've embraced him. They have encouraged him along the way, and of course, the teammates have been welcoming the whole time. Yeah, obviously he works a lot with Kevin and Clark, and they have just the best way I can say they take him under their wings.
Yep.
He's a young 22-year-old, and they're the mid 30-year-olds, and have helped show him around the city and give him tips and places to go and restaurants or things of that nature, and really helped him out to start his foundation there in Cincinnati. But he loves it there.
That's great. I mean, not only on the football field, these two guys, the operation, when a kicker doesn't have to worry about the snap and the hold, when you have as much experience as Clark does and Kevin have, that's got to be a relief for Evan. It's like, oh boy, is the snap going to be low? Is it going to be high? Where are the laces going to be? You don't have to worry about any of that as he approaches the football. That's got to make his life a lot easier, doesn't it?
Oh, no doubt. And of course, you go from high school struggling, right? I mean, nobody has a full-time holder punter,
right?
So to speak. But then he goes to college. It was even much better to have that. And then he said he goes to the pros. It just makes his job so much easier.
Yeah. What does he think of Darren Simmons, the special teams coach?
Loves him, respects him. Is proud that he came and observed him at his pro day, and that was a special time that they got to spend together because Darren, he wanted to hold for him at Evan's pro day. He asked Evan that, said, "You mind if I hold for you?" Of course, Evan's response was, "I don't mind. Let's do it."
Right.
And so, I know Darren's had experience in his collegiate life too, of doing that, and so it was good for Darren to see it firsthand and trying to mess Evan up, in his kicks and stuff. And Evan performed well during that pro day camp as well.
Yeah, I mean, Darren, obviously he was a punter at Kansas, a big time punter and holder. He's got those experience, and I think that's what kind of separates him as a special teams coach. A lot of special teams coaches have not actually, kicked a football like Darren. I think when Darren talks to kickers and punters and all that, he does at a much different level than most special teams coaches. They're just X's and O's and coverages and all that sort of thing, returns, and it's a very unique relationship that Darren always establishes, with his kickers, and he seems to have a great one with Evan. I remember, Darren Simmons beat his shoe on the desk to draft Evan in the 5th round. Everybody's reaction after the draft was, took a kicker in the 5th round? What's that about? And I talked to Darren afterwards. He said, let me tell you something. There were a lot of people at the workout that I was at. This kid, he won't be there in the 6th round. We got to take him in the 5th round. And I'm like, he said, I'm telling you, when he kicks the football, it's a different sound. When the ball comes off his foot, it's a different sound. He goes, this guy's special. I'm like, okay, Darren Simmons knows what he's talking about. I'm telling you.
Right.
So when you heard him actually, kicking a football, did you notice that? It was like, boy, that's a different thump. That's a different sound.
Yeah, which we've been around it for a while, right? We got all these camps and these every 2 weeks we're in Birmingham, and so we're used to hearing it, so to speak. But it's so much refreshing when you hear other people notice that as well, because in high school pregame warm-ups or something like that, the opposing team would always video him in pregame warm-ups, and they would make comments about that, how it sounds like a rifle being shot or a tire blowing out, whatever you want to call,
Right.
as an analogy for it. But yeah, it's a powerful sound when it comes off his foot.
And the other thing that he does so well is on kickoffs, he controls the football. He can kick it to, okay, we want to pin him to this sideline. Can you put it between, the numbers and the hash mark? Oh yeah. Can you put it between the hash mark and the sideline? Oh yeah. He can put it in spots with tremendous hang time. That's a huge weapon, no question.
Sure.
Field position.
That's right. Some people think you just kick off just to kick off, right? You just hit as hard as you can and set it down the field. But there is definitely a plan to every kick that's made, especially at this level.
Yep. Yeah. No question about it. Well, have you, when's the last time you've spoken with Evan?
Last night.
Last night.
Yep.
Really? Mm-hmm. You guys, he's a special kid. You've raised yourself a good one. He's handled.
Thank you.
He's just a sheer delight to be around. He's taken it all in stride. You can't be more proud of not only his successes, but how he's handled successes. Some kids handle failure remarkably enough better than they handle success. They don't really know how to handle success. Your son knows how to handle success, and I guess that's because he's had so much of it at such a young age, and he understands what it takes, I guess.
That's right. That's right. And which when he had made the decision to opt out of his 4th year at the University of Florida, some of the concerns that some people had was his maturity level. They say because the NFL is so much different than college ball, and everybody can be talented, but you got to worry about the mental aspect of it and the maturity level of it. And so we had gotten feedback on that, about we want to make sure he's mentally ready or mature enough. And we thought he was. He thought he himself was, and he was ready to go. It was a gut feel for him, and he thought, this is it. This is my time to go out and try to make an impact in the NFL. And as you and I both know now, we think he was ready, right? It's
he was more than ready.
Right.
More than ready. And it's funny you say that, because that's the first thing that Darren Simmons said. He said, you're going to be impressed with the maturity of this young man. He said he is mature beyond his years. So and coming from Darren Simmons, that means a lot. And right. I'm happy for Darren. Darren, 24 years, and he's finally in the Super Bowl. Like you were talking about before, people are around the game forever, and never get a chance. Mark Duffner, a special assistant on the defensive side of things, 25 years, never been to a Super Bowl. So you get guys that are just ecstatic about, man, I'm finally there. And then here's Evan, his rookie year, boom, he's going to kick a game-winning kick at the gun, baby.
It could be. It's unbelievable. It may be meant to be. We'll see.
Yeah,
we will see. But yeah, and that's what we as a family, we're just living through this, obviously through him, and amazed that it's happening so quick and in this great timing. So,
Well, got to meet you guys on the flight out to the football game, and your sons, and all three of your sons. You're an incredible family. You guys have done a tremendous job as parents. You have to feel very, very proud, and rightfully so. And boy, it's all about family, and you guys are a tremendous one. Appreciate you carving time for us. I know you're very popular. I know there's a big demand for LaDon out there after your son's success. What's that been like for you?
It's been a whirlwind. That's what I tell people. It's like a big snowball rolling down the hill the last 2 weeks. Obviously, after the Tennessee kick and win for the team, that's when it started snowballing for us. And I think we've done probably almost 20 or so interviews or such as this, or through newspapers or TV stations,
right?
That encompass Cincinnati, Gainesville, Florida, and Birmingham, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, Chattanooga, Tennessee, sort of our local networks around here. But so we've done several, but we enjoy talking about our kids any chance we get. And that's to say, like, Evan, he would never want to toot his own horn.
Right.
That's what we as parents are supposed to do for him, I guess. So we love talking about our boys and letting the world see that little different side of them. And so we enjoy it.
Let me get you out on this, LaDon. You're not the special teams coach, but you've seen your son kick a heck of a lot more than anybody else. That's for sure. Super Bowl Sunday. What do you think the range for Evan McPherson could be? I mean, how long a kick could Evan McPherson make out in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium?
Yeah, I think he'll take out the enormity of the stage that he'll be playing on. So when he takes all that out of it, I know he's 60 plus. There's no doubt in my mind he could hit a 65.
Really?
If need be. And I understand in the NFL, it's going to be situational, right? And when those situations come up, they're not going to take a 65-yarder just for the heck of it. They're going to have to be in a situation where it's either the end of the half or obviously end of the game.
Right.
But the ability is definitely there. I do understand the stadium is open on both ends, so there may be some wind blowing through possibly.
Yep.
Evan did share that they're going to get some time spending on the field on Saturday as a special teams group. Mm-hmm. Both teams get, I think he said, like an hour or so.
Yep.
To be able to go out there and I guess feel the wind or to feel the field itself, do some kicking, I'm sure. But anyway, so that's going to be special. But in a dead stadium, he could hit 65s. If it was completely enclosed, for sure. Open air stadium. I say open air. This is really not open air, but if there's wind blowing through, it may be a little longer. So.
All right, I can see it now. It's a tie football game. So if he makes it, it's a win. If he doesn't, we're going overtime. But from 65, Evan McPherson, it's good. That'd be unbelievable.
That would you can do your hammer nail coffin.
Yeah, right. Coffin nails. Bam, bam, bam. There we go.
Nail,
And Evan McPherson's the guy driving those nails, baby.
That's
with that
right.
big hammer.
That is right.
Don, appreciate you. Thanks for your time. I know you're busy, and you got a beautiful family. You got a great family. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you so much. And thanks again for having us.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Brakes? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right.
Gotta get that body right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out FirstStarLogistics.com.